Good afternoon, actually, everyone, and it's a great pleasure being here. We're actually now closing these sessions organized in partnership with SwissMem, and it was all about the trends of the robotics and what's coming up. But concretely speaking, we're now entering into the next stage. Once we have the trends, once we have the robot, it's going into presenting the startups, going into the part where what have we done with all of these? How do they go to market? And as you know, one of the avenues is doing the trends and doing the startups. Just a small word, I'm Jordi Montserrat. I'm the co-founder and CEO of Venturelab. Some of you might know what we do. We are active since 20 years in actually building, and I see there should be, so maybe there's a click here. If we go one further, at Venturelab, it's been 20 years. We're building the success of the startups, building it with you, with all of you who are, and particularly those who are in the labs and are building the next stage. And what we want now, and I know between you and the lunch, but what we want is to make sure that you can see how hot this can be. In a nutshell, what we do is building from the ground up, raising towards from training all the way to funding, and ideally bringing you all the way to the top 100 Swiss startups, which if you go online, you will see every year we have this selection. And we do this, as I say, starting at the ground with trainings. Those who are in the room who wants to launch a company, look at the InnoSwiss training. We have them here at EPFL in several universities across Switzerland, and they're helping from business idea to business concept to shape the idea. Ideas when promising, which we kick forward with funding, and this funding is actually here, up to 1 million in a fast-track accelerated path to support the first steps of building your company. So it is the right moment. We know the times are challenging. I know out there, talk to a lot of companies, but still for the robotics, it is the moment. It is very strong. We see a lot of interest. We see funding. If you go online, you will see the number of companies, and we have in Switzerland an amazing platform to do this. And therefore, it's my pleasure to introduce 2 examples today of those startups. We'll start with Impact Build, who are building actually the presentation. I'm going to do one last test because we're jumping to Impact Build, perfect. So thank you very much. It's a great pleasure having you, Lauren. And we have now the pleasure to welcome concretely, how do you bring and build your startup and make it a success? Welcome, Lauren.
Thank you so much, Jordi. Very excited to be here. So I'm introducing Impact Build, which is a new startup from ETH Zurich. And our mission is to decarbonize construction with robotic manufacturing. So the construction sector is hugely problematic from a sustainability point of view. We're generating 37% of global greenhouse gas emissions, 20% just from new construction alone. Now, we have solutions, but the issue is either the material cannot meet the demand, like timber prefabrication, or the building method is too expensive, like rammed earth and poured earth. And even our automated solutions, like 3D concrete printing, are not sustainable, and they're still cost prohibitive. So we've developed a new type of additive manufacturing. It's called impact printing. And basically the way it works is that we shoot very dense material at very high velocity with a completely custom patent pending mechanism. And when we shoot it that fast, actually you get a bond between the parts, and we don't have to chemically accelerate the material like you would do in concrete 3D printing. You can cut through the parts, and they're actually completely bonded. And we can, for example, wire cut or cut through or make kind of interfaces with other building components. So this is a kind of example of the kind of structures that we can build. We can revitalize characteristic building systems that are too expensive building them with manual methods. Our startup aims to enter the prefabrication market. Prefabrication is a type of construction where you basically build components ahead of time in a manufacturing lab, but we're aiming to actually replace brick-and-mortar construction on a global scale. Brick and mortar has cementitious high volume or high CO2 emissions, and if we could do that, then we can really make not only an impact economically, but also in terms of CO2 emissions. So thank you very much for the invitation, and feel free to connect with us on LinkedIn or come chat with me afterwards. Thank you very much.
Hello, everyone. Very happy to be here. I'm Francesco Stella. And today I'll present you Embodied AI and the work we are doing to bring robots to human spaces. So when I was a kid, I imagined having robots that would come and help us, to be around us, to do things that we don't want to do. And then I went on to study robotics and realized that robots today are rigid and they lack the intelligence and safety to be around humans. We have built robots that are strong, that are precise and fast, and not robots that are safe, adapting, and accepted by us. This means that when we deploy robots, we get a task, and then we need to usually create some level of replica of it, either in simulation or in the real world. And this takes a lot of cost and time. Then we need to start gathering the data, which again can be a significant part of it. Then we train policies, and we need to check that the data that we have gathered actually transfer to the real world. And then finally, we need to bring it to the customer with engineers, testing that it will be safe around in the setting. This real-world testing can take 1 to 10 years with the current way of doing robotics, and is mainly problematic due to 2 reasons. Lack of physically safe robots that we cannot put around people, and lack of high-quality data. We lack data of the contacts in the surroundings that we want to be. This is something we want to change at Embodied AI with what we call our Embodied AI flywheel. So we start by building physically safe robots that cannot harm people around us. If we have these systems, we can then directly bring them to the customers and get them to work from the zero to teleoperation. What this allows us is not only to directly serve the customers, but also get the data that we need to make autonomy policies. And with this, then we use residual imitation learning to continuously improve our policies as our robots are serving the client. Together with me, there is Kai Junge and Max Polsin, Josie Hooks and Professor Della Santina, and a fantastic team. And also we are hiring, so please, if you're interested to work with us, just approach me. And thank you very much for your attention.